Hello, and welcome to today's episode of In the Moment. I'm your host, Michael Clark, certified life coach, former therapist, and owner of Clark Coaching Services. I was a therapist for 8 years of my career and have been a life coach for almost 2 years now. And I just want to give back and share my knowledge and experience with you to try to help navigate this thing we call life. Thank you in advance for listening, and I'm so glad you're here. Hey, Michael here, and welcome. I want to start this one a little differently. If you're listening to this right now and you're going through the end of a relationship, or maybe you're standing in that uncomfortable in between where you know something isn't right, I just want to say this first. You're not crazy, you're not weak, and you're definitely not alone. Because what you're feeling right now, the confusion, the sadness, the second guessing, the how did I get here, that's human. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when relationships fail or start to fall apart, especially for women who have invested months, years, sometimes decades into a partnership. We're going to talk about why this hurts so deeply, why so many women blame themselves, the emotional and mental toll, the financial fear that often comes with it, and most importantly, how to begin moving forward in a real, grounded way. This is not going to be surface level advice. This is going to be honest, supportive, and practical. So let's start with something important. This isn't just a breakup. It's not just losing a person. It's losing a shared identity, a future you pictured, emotional safety, even if it wasn't perfect, routines, habits, inside jokes, history. And for many women I work with, it's also losing a version of themselves, the one who was a partner, a wife, someone building something with someone else. So when that ends, it can feel like, who am I now? And that question alone can be incredibly destabilizing. Now, let's talk about something I see all the time: women blaming themselves. And not just lightly. I'm talking about deep, heavy, internal blame, like maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I asked for too much. Maybe if I had just fill in the blank. And here's what I want to say clearly. That voice is not the truth. It's your mind trying to create control in a situation that feels out of control. Because if it's your fault, then maybe you could have fixed it. And if you could have fixed it, then maybe you wouldn't have to feel this pain. But that's not how relationships work. Relationships are systems. They are built on two people, two histories, two emotional patterns, two communication styles. So when something breaks down, it's almost never one-sided, even if one person made the final decision. Now, here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. A relationship breakup falls in the category of grief, not metaphorically, literally. You are grieving a loss. And grief does not just apply to death. It applies to anything that mattered deeply that is no longer there. There's a model you've probably heard of, the 5 stages of grief. I want to walk you through them briefly so you can see yourself in this and maybe feel a little less alone. Denial. The question that you might ask, this isn't really happening. You might feel numb or like you're just going through the motions. Anger. The question you might ask is, how could this happen? This can be directed at your partner or yourself. Bargaining. The question you might ask, what if I had done things differently? This is where the self-blame often lives. Depression. The question you might ask, this is really over. This is the heaviness, the sadness, the exhaustion. And finally, acceptance. And this is where you might say, this is my reality now. Not happiness, not approval, just acknowledgement. And here's the key. These steps or phases don't happen in order. You don't graduate from one to the next. You move in and out of them, sometimes in the same day. That's normal. You're not doing it wrong. So let's get practical. Because when you're in the space, you don't just need understanding, you need tools. So here are a few. Number one, contain the spiral. When your mind starts racing, and it will, replaying conversations, imagining worst case scenarios, give it a boundary. Try this. Okay, I'm allowed to think about this, but only for 10 minutes. Set a timer. After that, redirect. This is not avoidance. It's regulation. It's starting to take control back. Number two, name what you're feeling. Instead of saying, I feel terrible, get specific. I feel rejected. I feel scared. I feel abandoned. Some people think that when you name it, you are giving it power. But in this case, you're creating space from it in order to move forward towards acceptance. Number three, create micro stability. Right now, your life feels uncertain. So we build small anchors. Wake up at the same time. Eat consistently. Move your body, even lightly. These are not big solutions, but they create stability during a time of instability. And finally, number four, limit emotional overexposure. Be careful who you share this with. Not everyone can hold this kind of vulnerability that you're experiencing. You don't need 10 opinions. You need 1 to 2 safe, non-judgmental, grounded people who can support you and love you no matter what. Don't hold your thoughts and feelings in. Be open with those you trust, and that openness will allow you to process and heal. You don't have to fake it or put on an external smile when internally you are feeling broken and shattered. This will help to identify you again. And let's talk about identity. Because one of the hardest parts is this. I thought this was my forever. But now you're questioning everything. But here's a shift I want you to consider. What if this wasn't a failure, but just a chapter that revealed something important? Maybe it revealed what you truly need in a partner, what you've been tolerating, where you've been overgiving, where you've been disconnected from yourself. Granted, that does not make the pain disappear, but it gives it meaning, and meaning is what helps us move forward. In my last couple of relationship chapters where I was broken and distraught, the light that I found was realizing my self-worth in what I truly wanted in a relationship, more so, what I truly deserved in a relationship. I created a list of non negotiables based on items from prior relationships that I did not get or have. Things like my partner accepting me for who I am, my partner being non judgmental, my partner being honest, my partner being passionate and loving. The list went on to max out at about 20 items. I was not looking for perfection. I was just looking for what I felt I deserved. Now, there's something more tangible that we need to discuss now: money and financial stability. What am I going to do? How am I going to survive financially? How will we split assets? First, take a breath. You don't have to solve your entire financial future today. Start with clarity. What are your current expenses? What income do you have or need? What support systems are available? Break it down step by step. Overwhelm comes from trying to solve everything at once. Progress comes from solving one piece at a time. The old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Now, if you take nothing else from this episode, take this. You are not broken. You are in a process, a painful one, 100%, but also a meaningful one. Because on the other side of this is a version of you that knows herself more deeply, trusts herself more fully, and makes decisions from a place of clarity, not fear. And if you're in this right now, just focus on the next step, not the whole path, just the next step. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep going. If this episode resonated with you, I want you to know you don't have to go through this alone. This is exactly the kind of work I do with my clients. We create clarity, stability, and a path forward that actually feels grounded and doable. If you're ready for that kind of support, if you need that kind of support, you can reach out to me directly. You know how to find me. ClarkCoachingServices.com. And we'll take this step one step at a time, together. You got this.